in an effort to push down cooking oil prices, which has been surging in the past 4 months. The export ban includes the banning of exports of crude palm oil, cooking oil, and raw materials used for making cooking oil, and also banning the exports of other palm oil goods such as palme and red palm oil. But even without the ban, Indonesia actually produces more than enough palm oil goods to meet domestic demands. Now, indeed, looking back to 2021, Indonesia produced 46.8 million tons of crude palm oil, consumed 18.4 million tons, meaning there's a leftover of around 28.4 million tons. Also that same year, Indonesia produced 22.4 million tons of RBD palm oil, which is used to make cooking oil, and Indonesia only consumed 8.3 million tons for domestic use, meaning there's a leftover of 14.1 million tons. Meanwhile, following the ban on palm oil exports, Indonesian palm oil farmers are set to suffer significant losses due to the drop in prices of fresh fruit bunches, the fruit that palm oil is taken from. Following the ban on palm oil exports, the Indonesian Association of Palm Oil Farmers said that farmers will suffer losses of up to 11.7 trillion rupiah. Indeed, in regards to shortages in cooking oil and its increase in price, Indonesian authorities have placed the blame on corruption and foul play. Recently, the Indonesian Attorney General's office named a high-ranking trade ministry official and numerous palm oil company executives as suspects in a corruption case related to crude palm oil export permits.
Pak, kasih statement, Pak. Pak, benar, Pak. Bapak dipitnah, Pak. Bilang, Pak.
So amid reports of corruption and also actually producing more than enough palm oil for domestic needs, is this palm oil export ban then the right move to reduce the price of cooking oil? And to discuss more, we are joined by the Director of Celios think tank, Bhima Yudhistira. Hi, Bhima. Thank you so much for joining us again today on Jakarta Movers and Shakers.
Yeah, pleasure.
Right. So first of all, I want to ask you, as we saw just now, we're going to pull the graphics up for you as well in just a second. Right. So as you can see there, Indonesia actually produces a lot of palm oil goods. In 2021, Indonesia produced 22 million tons of RBD palm oil, the material used for making cooking oil, but only consumed 8.3 million tons. That means Indonesia should have enough supply to keep cooking oil prices down. So Bhima, tell us, is this export ban the right move then? Did we actually have to do this?
Yeah, I think this is an unnecessary move. The policy is so necessary, not necessary and excessive policy from the government to ban all of the CPO production, because as we see from the graph, it's only 17% of the RBD oil used from the total CPO production. So it is not so necessary, and it's a blunder, I think, for many of the aspects in the palm oil ecosystem, and also hit farmer very hard, because the producer of the CPO and also the company, you want to buy a lot of the CPO from the farmers because they are afraid of the oversupply. And I think the government wants to set a shock therapy to the big conglomerates of the palm oil and also part of the cooking oil companies. But it seems like it's a backlash. So the target is a big conglomerate, so they will overcome the difficulties of the cooking oil, so they can increase the capacity of productions with this ban. But the farmers, I think, is not included in the policy. So when the policy announced by the President of Jokowi, I think Mr. President and his teams, his minister also, didn't see that the farmer is being hit hard And also the cooking oil price, I don't think will be declined anytime soon. Because we see from the National Center of the Food Price Index, so the price of the cooking oil since 2022 and up to 28 April 2022, the price is still high. So there is no sign of the decrease of the cooking oil.
Right, so you think this won't be effective at all, and so basically you're saying this export ban is being put in place to punish these companies. So I mean, is it going to be effective in punishing them, and is it just going to be, having a wide variety of negative impacts? Like you said, it's going to hurt farmers, it's going to hurt maybe the trade of Indonesia. So I mean, this seems like a really big blunder. It's unnecessary and it's not going to solve anything.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think if the target of the government is to make sure the cooking oil company gives the right supply and also to increase the capacity of production, so there will be like no shortage in the supply of cooking oil, especially the good cooking oil.
Okay, Bhima, Bhima, I'm so sorry. There seems to be some technical difficulties, so we're going to have to take a short break right now. But we're going to continue our dialogue right after this short break. So sorry, Bhima. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Saya minta kesadaran industri minyak sawit untuk mencukupi kebutuhan dalam negeri. Prioritaskan dulu dalam negeri, penuhi dulu kebutuhan rakyat. Semestinya, kalau melihat kapasitas produksi, kebutuhan dalam negeri bisa dengan mudah tercukupi. Volume bahan baku minyak goreng yang kita produksi dan kita ekspor jauh lebih besar daripada kebutuhan dalam negeri.
And we're back with Bhima Yudhistira. We're going to talk more about this export ban on palm oil products. So as you heard just now, the president himself, President Joko Widodo, says that Indonesia produces enough, and he's telling palm oil companies to kind of step it up and prioritize, serving Indonesian interests. So, what can the government do to kind of push these companies to produce enough cooking oil, push down the prices, but without having to hurt the Indonesian people? Because as you said, this export ban is going to hurt farmers, it's going to hurt Indonesian trade revenues.
Yeah, I think there's the option, to increase the government bargaining power, to push the big conglomerate in the palm oil and cooking oil industry, to increase in the capacity of production, and to make sure that the consumer gets fair price of the cooking oil, both packaging cooking oil and bulk cooking oil. So the first one is the government needs to see that the conglomerate use any of the tactics to increasing the revenue or margin and pushing the farmers' margin or farmer cooking oil price or palm oil price from the farmers. So there is already a regulation which is Permentan number 1, 2018. So the regulation states that the company cannot dictate alone the price of the CPO in the level of the farmers. So they need to see that the government needs to intervene to set up the price so the farmer is not being weak in terms of the bargaining with the palm oil industry. So the second one, I think, instead of banning all of the CPO products, the government can increase the export duty. So this is already happening in 2011. During that time, the increase of the CPO increased also in the cooking oil price in Indonesia. But the government set up the export levy, so they increased dramatically the export levy, and then the price of the cooking oil in Indonesia is decreasing significantly. So there's a lot of a mechanism tools to be used in terms of the controlling the cooking oil price in the domestic market. And the third one, the conglomerate of the palm oil should be remembered that the land they use has been used for the cultivating the palm in Indonesia. It is contract by the government. So we call it HGU, Hak Guna Usaha Lahan. So when the government decides not to prolong the contract, they can use it as a power to push the conglomerate, to punish the conglomerate. And I think the number 4, I maybe one more point is to increase the law enforcement. So there is no big player can above the regulation or law or the government officials.
Okay, so it seems there is a problem dealing with these conglomerates in the palm oil industry. Now, Indonesia also, there is Indonesian state-owned palm oil companies, meaning the government owns some palm oil companies. However, they only control reportedly 4% of palm oil plantations. Private companies, they control 56%. Now, back in 2012, state companies, they controlled 7.8%. So it means the government is losing more and more control of palm oil plantations. I mean, wouldn't it be better if there's a bigger share owned by the government? And what has happened in the past few years that, we've lost control, the government has lost control of these plantations?
So actually, the problem is the state-owned enterprise and also the government policy didn't see the cooking oil as part of the commodity that should be controlled. As we see that the Ministry of Trade and the Ministry of Industry have a different opinion, Bulog have a different opinion, and the other Ministry of the Farmer have a different opinion. Because the cooking oil is part of the manufacturing process. It's not similar with the rice, with the soybean, with the corn, with the beef, with the chicken meat, for instance. So they put cooking oil not part of a tobacco or basic necessity that the people should afford it. So this is the basic problem. So therefore, there is no push, there is no policy to support this state-owned enterprise in the palm oil industry to increase the capacity of the production or to dominate the domestic market. So that's the problem. So when there is a problem of the cooking oil price increase and the government state-owned enterprise only covering 4% of the total production of the palm oil in Indonesia, then it will be very difficult to control when there is a market failure.
Yeah.
When the private sector increases the margin exponentially and hurting the Indonesian consumers. So I think this is like an evaluation how the government should increase the funding to the state-owned enterprise and use strategy so they can dominate the market. So when it happens again in the future, the government has many intervention tools to control the cooking oil price.
Okay, like you said, the Indonesian state-owned companies themselves are having trouble or maybe not seeing that they should have controlled the palm oil industry when I think after this problem, it seems like maybe this should be a top priority for Indonesian state-owned enterprises. And also there's a problem in dealing with these conglomerates, these big palm oil companies. Let's just hope that the export ban will not last for too long because as you said, it is hurting Indonesian farmers, also hurting one of Indonesia's biggest exports. Bhima Yudhistira, the Director of Celios think tank, thank you so much for giving us your insights. Thank you.